entrance of the head table.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me for 1 second. Speak up, Mark. Okay.
If you need to stand up and
Good evening, everyone.
if you want.
We're going to start the evening off by having the son of our charter president ring the opening bell. And I please call on Jim Norman to do that. Thank you, Jim. That bell, by the way, happens to be the original bell from the club and covered with a fire. I'd like to thank Rotary and Rob Stewart for fighting in the head table. That was a nice touch. Could I ask everyone now to please stand for the singing roll piano? Lights up to the front.
We
Queen, a toast to the President of Brazil, the King of Denmark, and Paul Harris, Rotary International. Please be seated. I'd like to begin tonight with saying happy 50th anniversary to the Rotary. 50 years ago at our charter meeting, there were no past presidents of our club. What a difference 50 years makes.
Turn up the mic.
You have to stay until Joe gets.
50 years ago, the room was full of, 50 years ago, the room had no past presidents, of course. But like I say, what a difference 50 years makes. I would like to welcome Rotary members here tonight from the surrounding area clubs. There are members here from the Woodstock Rotary Club, who, by the way, was our parent and sponsoring club. There are also members here from the Delhi Club, Elmer, Ingersoll, Interkip, and Simcoe. I'd like to thank everyone that came a long distance tonight to help celebrate our 50th. It is truly an honor to be in a room filled with so many Rotarians and partners, past Rotarians and their partners, and partners of past Rotarians. At the district conference this year in Hamilton, we had the honor of witnessing the charter of the new Rotary Club of Flamborough. I couldn't help but think back to what it must have been like 50 years ago when our club received its charter. That evening there were 22 members standing at the front, and they were so full of enthusiasm and spirit that they were almost bursting at the seams. They could hardly wait to get to work. I wish you could have all been present at our charter night to feel what they must have all felt. A comment was made that night at the Rotary Club, that a Rotary Club over its history will give to the community millions of dollars. And that's true, they do. I would like to thank all of those Rotarians and their partners tonight that have been part of this club's 50 years of service. It's because of your involvement, foresight, hard work, and determination that we are able to celebrate tonight. Thank you to all past Rotarians and partners of past Rotarians for your input that is still shared by the club today. It is truly appreciated, and your wisdom and thoughts are always welcome. So from all of us tonight, the current membership, we say thank you. I would like to now introduce the head table, and we'll start at the very end. First we have the incoming president of our Rotary Club, Jim Donaldson, and his lovely wife, Kathy. We have Jim Norman is next, and Jim, as I said, is the son of one of the charter members. And then we have Jim's wife, Denise. And then we have my wife, Linda. And then we have Eleanor Wood, who is our guest speaker. She'll be introduced later. And then we have Betty Clark. And we have Dr. Jim Clark. And then we have Linda Brown. And we have Dave Brown, past president. You probably all had a chance to notice the pictures along the walls and in some of the albums. You'll notice a lot of changes in those pictures and the way people looked and the way they dressed and so forth. One thing you probably noticed was the hairdos were a lot different back then. And to give you an idea of what it was like 40 years ago, or 50 years ago rather, the price of a perm 50 years ago was 25 cents. Linda went to the hairdressers last week, and she came back and she said, I only spent $40 at the hairdresser. And I said, did you get your hair done? And she said, no, I didn't. It was just an estimate. That gives you an idea of how things have increased over the years.
Wait till I go on Friday.
I'd like to call now on Dr. Jim Clark, who is one of our charter members of the Rotary Club, to say the grace.
May we remember as we walk along these pathways that whatever we might say, let's be only the truth. Whatever steps we take in life, let them build goodwill and better fellowships. Whatever goals we strive to accomplish, let them be beneficial to all concerned. Let us never lose sight of our many blessings, including the fellowship we partake of tonight. In the spirit of Rotary,
Folks, enjoy your dinners and your fellowship. Everybody to take your seats down.
When you think your head up speeches, just put up your hand so you run a film and cut it out. No, I didn't sell it to him.
We'll start to carry on with the rest of the program tonight. I've taken supper, so I shouldn't be quite as nervous now. I always get nervous when I'm hungry. I'd like to start off tonight with thanking the Royal Canadian Legion for a wonderful dinner. Our thanks to Donna Long and her assistants. It was a wonderful dinner, and I'm sure everybody enjoyed it. I have a number of special guests to introduce to all of you tonight. I'd like to start off with introducing some people I met just today, actually. It's funny how sometimes you can meet somebody for the first time and it seems like you've known them for all of your life. And I happened to meet one of those people today, and we spent the day together, and I'd like to introduce to you John Manuel. He's a doctor from Brazil, and he's part of the GSE team. John?
Thank you. Good evening. I'm very happy to be here. I would like to say that Canada may be a cold country, the weather is cold, but the people is very warm. And we are feeling very well here. You are terrific hosts. I think I'm going to have trouble in convincing my people to go back to Brazil. So I'm a medical doctor. Our team is, we are 5 here, and I would like to introduce also the other members. Please, Aline, would you like to introduce yourself? Thank you very much. The dinner was very good. Thank you very much.
Thanks, John. Good evening. I'm Aline, and I'm very happy to be here too. And I really must thank Rotary for your hospitality, and I'm I, I used to say when we are together that I'm feeling like a movie star. Thank you. Sorry. Ana Cláudia, come in, please.
Our next movie star.
Good evening. I'm Ana Cláudia. I'm a dentist and postgraduate in dental surgery. I'd like to say to you that we felt the same. We met each other this morning, but we are feeling that we are our family too. So I'd like to say thank you and that we are very happy here. Thank you. Pátia.
In Brazil, we said boa noite. I'm Kátia. I work in steel company in Volta Redonda, Rio de Janeiro State. I'm very happy to be here. I'm learning a lot with you. Thank you very much. Marcelo.
Good evening. My name is Marcelo Magano. I work with photography and video camera and cinema. And I'm very happy to be here, and I'm very surprised that you have, I think, in common with our people. You're always smiling, you're always laughing, and you like jokes, and thank you for your hospitality, and thank you for being here. I like very much farms. My family has a farm, and I'm very happy to be in the countryside. Thank you.
Thank you very much, folks. They've got a very busy time in the next couple of weeks. They're in our area until June the 9th, and then they're going to be touring some other parts of Ontario after that. Now it gives me great pleasure to introduce Valentine Rodriguez, who happens to be the son of Naila Lozano. And she was our first Rotary Exchange student who came to Tolstenberg in September of 1968. Please welcome Valentine. I'd also like to introduce to everyone our outgoing exchange student, and she's heading to Brazil. Please welcome Brooke Simons. Brooke. We also have a number of other exchange students with us tonight. We have Cheryl Ellis. Kelly Lennon. We have Jamie Lennon. Jamie here. We have Nick Muth and Tom Muth. We have Karen Swing. And we have Linda White. Welcome, folks. Now, if I could get our current Rotary Exchange student to come to the front, please welcome Ricky Masley. That's right. Please welcome as well Marshall Knapp over the table there. These guys come sneaking in here all over the place, don't they? Ricky has been our exchange student from Denmark, and she's been with us now about 11 months, 10 months, 10 months. And I promised her I would give her a couple banners to take home to present to her Rotary Club in Denmark. So at this time, Ricky, please accept those from me. It's been a pleasure having you. Now to bring us greetings from the town of Tillsonburg, please help me welcome fellow Rotarian and former mayor of Tillsonburg, Rotarian Cam McKnight. Thanks, Mark. Fellow Rotarians, guests. Actually, I brought this piece of paper that I got from Jim Sargent. This is a letter that came from Jim inviting everyone to tonight's event. And it was dated May 1st, so I was still the mayor on May 1st. So actually, subsequent to that, Jim called and said, could you bring greetings on behalf of the town? And I said, well, actually, Jim introduced me to Rotary in Tillsonburg too, so I should thank him for that publicly. But Jim called me up and said, would you bring greetings from the town to the club? And I said, well, I'm the past mayor now. I retired to take a job with the newspaper company as president. No, he said, I know, but he said, we'd still like a Rotarian to bring greetings from the town. I said, yeah, but there's a new mayor and maybe, no, he said, we'd like a Rotarian. So I'm expecting that Bruce Halliday, as a former MP, is going to bring greetings from Ottawa after I'm done. Anyway, I would like to say that during my time as mayor, and I was lucky enough to be mayor of this town for almost 9 years, and during my tenure, the Rotary Club went above and beyond call of duty as far as serving the residents and the citizens of our community. There were so many things that the club was involved in, and I guess I had a bit of an inside advantage because I knew the abilities of the Rotarians and some of the things that they were involved in. But through my tenure as mayor, I mean, things like their involvement with the Rowing Club has continued to foster growth in the community. The Rotary shows, although unfortunately it didn't work out this year, but the Rotary shows have been a Rotary standby, Rotary Club standby, and they've fostered a lot of interest in our community and provided a forum for a lot of our citizens. And in fact inspired the Otter Valley Playhouse, which is now out on Potter's Road. And one of the things that I've really been proud of as mayor is the clock tower, because what it's done is it's allowed us to come together on an annual basis at the clock tower at the striking of midnight to bring in every new year. And I've been kind of weighing in my mind how long I'd stay on or not stay around as the mayor, the public willing, of course. But I've been thinking about it for a while, and I thought the one thing I did want to do was have the opportunity to be the mayor and help bring in the new millennium. And the reason I took such an interest was obviously Rotary inspired, because without the clock tower, without the New Year's Millennium event, we wouldn't have had the opportunity to bring in the New Year. And so it's those sort of things that have helped bring the town together. And I know as the mayor how much the club has done for the town. And it's not just a Rotary Club, it's all service clubs across our community. But all the clubs have contributed so much to the quality of life in our town. And every time you need something, you can just go bet. And I'm sure that the new mayor and future mayors will also count on the service clubs in our community to help them out whenever they think that there's projects that are worthwhile for the community. So I would personally like to, I guess, bring greetings from the citizens for everything the Rotary Club's done. And that goes from local projects to fostering international relationships with, and the students that you've been introduced to are a good example of that. I guess that goes to show that Rotary is miles ahead of where international diplomats are. I think that Rotary realized a long time ago that you can get a lot further by meeting people, shaking hands, and learning other cultures rather than just dealing with each other across phone lines or across oceans or whatever. And so the whole world seems to now be catching up with Rotary as far as exchanges and understanding internationally where we come from. But on a local level,
The club has done so much for the town of Tillsonburg. I appreciate what you did to help my councils out and the councils during my term as mayor. And as I said, I'm sure that there will be many great days ahead for Rotary in the town of Tillsonburg. So congratulations on your 50th anniversary, and I'm proud to be a Rotarian. Thank you, Cam. It doesn't matter what you do, Cam, you'll always be a great ambassador for Tillsonburg. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce to you two past district governors that we have here tonight. The first I'd like to introduce is past District Governor Don Watkins. Don, could you stand? The other past district governor we have here tonight is past District Governor Ted Turner. Ted, would you stand? Ted was the past district governor of District 709. That's before they split the district into two districts, I suspect. He was also the charter member of the first Provost Club in Canada. And he was also here to help the Tillsonburg Charter, or the Tillsonburg Provost Club get started. And thank you very much, Ted. Thanks for coming tonight. And of course, Don, he'll get a little more of an introduction in a few minutes, I'm sure. But thanks for coming, fellas. Now, for a presentation of the history of the Rotary Club of Tillsonburg, please welcome fellow Rotarians Frank Bennett and Owen Hawkins.
Thanks, Mark. Jim Sargent, our chairman, gave us 4 minutes each to tell what happened to the club in the last 50 years. And we just said it ain't going to happen. But thanks to former Mayor Cam McKnight, he stole half our thunder. So we're just going to kind of go back and forth here. Is that, we still agree to that? We've had a lot of rehearsals. My first recollection of Rotary, before I became a member, 1953, they had a soapbox derby over on Harvey Street, in front of Avondale United Church, and they're down as far as Clark Street. And then, about a year or two after the club was formed, charter member and vice president Walter Gibson had influence enough to get the Crippled Children Association involved with our club. And we've had that, of course, ever since in the Easter Seal. And we've raised thousands and thousands of dollars, and we've helped hundreds and probably thousands of children. First Rotary show I recall was Harvey, 1953, before I was a member. And it was held at the town hall, upstairs in the opera room, I guess it was called. And it was a minstrel show, blackface. And we all were involved in that, and we had lots of laughs and lots of hard work. And then we had a couple of ministers belonging to our club. The one was supporting our show very much, and the other one wrote a letter to the editor of the Tillsonburg News, chastising us for discrimination. So down the tube went the minstrel show, and we went to a variety show, and then moved to Annandale House, or Annandale High School, and then eventually it became a Broadway production, and that required talent, and that eliminated about 90% of us from parents. So the Tillsonburg Little Theater took a hold, and we raised considerable money, and we had it every year until this year. So 46, 48 years, 49 years. And one other thing we had, was a New Canadian Night. And that's when a lot of people from Europe were coming to Canada. And when they received their citizenship, we would have a banquet. And it was very much appreciated by them and very enjoyable. And now on, are you ready to try to use up these 4 minutes?
That's 30 seconds.
I don't know whether I have stolen some of Frank's thunder or whether he's got a little bit of mine, so I'm having to have to do a little bit of sorting out here. I joined, I was going to say this is a few red letter lines about Rotary. I joined Rotary in 1960. Now, there's nothing red lettered about that. But at the time I joined, one of the projects that we were very much involved in was the music festival. And many of you out there will remember the music festival probably better than I do, because a lot of you put a lot of time and effort to make that music festival a success. Well, that served its day, and it went by the board. And another thing that we did in those early years, and still do it up to date, is provide scholarships to the students in early years of both Glendale and Annandale high schools for students who excelled in certain subjects that were designated by the Rotary Club. That goes on till this time. Rural Urban Night was another night that we look forward to. Particularly I did, because I was both the only rural member of the club for a number of years. And we set a night aside where we took our meeting to a village outside the town, and we each of the Rotarian invited a friend or someone from the rural community. We usually invited a speaker who had a subject that was of interest to the rural people. Since I was in the rural neighborhood, why, I was allowed to invite someone from the town. Another thing that we did with some success for a number of years, and that was our Rotary Antique Show. It first started, we held it in the tobacco auction building, and later on in the Lions Community Center. It seemed to be a pretty good moneymaker while we were going, but we didn't last too long. Student exchange was something that we were into quite early. I think we were the first, not the first club that were involved with the student exchange. Simcoe were involved before we were, but I think we beat Woodstock by about a year. And we had the first exchange student incoming was in 1968, and you have already met the son of that student with us tonight. We had a major part in the community complex, and the Rotary Wing was part of well, I don't say they financed it all, but they got their name on it, and we did contribute considerable money toward that project. Rotary Phone Check, and I mustn't overlook this, was started in 1977, and as you know, it continues until this day. Senior citizens who live alone can call into the Rotary Phone Check and make sure that they report to someone that mans our telephone that they're all, everything is all well and that they're good for another day. They call in on a daily basis. The all-weather track is something that maybe few of the Rotarians that are members today knew anything about. It was a rubberized track at Annandale High School, and we were sold the idea that I guess everybody would run faster if they had an all-weather track that was rubberized, and we put a considerable amount of money toward that project. And it wasn't all track work. We took on the Rolling Club back in the early years. I'm not just sure what year that was started, but it still continues to this day. So it's something that Rotary they got them on the water, and then maybe we just left them there. Frank, you got any more?
Yeah, what pages?
I'm trying to use up your 4 minutes.
Okay, well, just some quick things. We used to meet at the Arlington Hotel at noon. And we used to have a father and son banquet every year. Then as time went by, it became a father and children. And it was always very successful, very popular with kids. We used to sell Planters peanuts. Excuse me. The Rotary Club would go from door to door, from village to village, selling these peanuts. Excuse me. In Alderville one night, I remember, was going door to door, and that was the night after President Kennedy had told Mr. Khrushchev to turn his ships around and to get the missiles out of Cuba. And as we went door to door, every TV or radio was on the same station. And we could stand out on the street and hear this. And I remember it was Ian Linton, Art Ronson, myself, and I forget who the other one was. And we didn't know if to stay there and keep selling peanuts or run for home. At one time we had a film booth at the fair. I joined in 1954, and I remember selling hamburgers with Brian Clark's dad, Jim. Jim quit Rotary shortly after that. I don't know if that was the cause of it. Then we used to sell flowers, potted mums, out on the street. And I remember one year, colder than Dickens, Gene Ferry and I stood down in front of Loblaws selling these crazy pots. And Loblaws is where the Tillsonburg Tire is now. That was a very active store. We had Christmas trees we sold. Bought them down in Delhi, lugged them up here. Somebody come up with the idea we'd sell them for $3 and a half a tree. $2 for the tree and $1.50 donation. Well, the buyers of Christmas trees wanted value for their money, and they wouldn't give us that other $1.50. We lost money. Rotary Westmount School, one of the major projects, and it was opened in 1959. Probably it was $35,000, $40,000. We had no money. And Tom Harris and I went to the ministry in Toronto and asked for a grant. And we asked them for $25,000. And the representative of the ministry sat, I can see him yet, slid back in his chair, and he said, "You want $25,000? And he said, we said yes, and he said, "How much do you think my budget is for the province of Ontario?" Don't know. He said, $50,000, and you guys want half of it? So anyways, I think they did come across with $7,000 or $8,000. Rotary Roses we had. Later years, I think Cam McKnight had come up with this idea, and it was excellent. And we used to prepare all the roses up at the news office, but us Rotarians really never have been very good ticket sellers. And it had some success, it was much appreciated, but it eventually went by the board. 25 or 30 years, Tillsonburg News always had a representative, a reporter, at our meetings. And that helped our club so much, because it put our name up in front of the public all the time. We built a workshop for the men who retarded. Cost around $35,000, $40,000, I guess. And again, we had no money. It was early 60s. And we heard that in Thunder Bay, they had a thing called a walkathon. And I believe it was Owen Hawkins' niece that worked up there and sent this clipping down to her mother. And so we thought we'd try it. It was the first one in southwestern Ontario. And it was a great success, and we paid for that workshop in one day. And we were going to give everybody a receipt. But you know, these lists came in of sponsors, and yet we couldn't balance anything. So we had boxes, about the size of this podium here, about 6 to 8 inches deep. We just kept throwing the money in them, and we had piles of them. And we kept them under the counter at the Bank of Montreal. And at night, we'd go down there and we'd count this money. And before we got done, we had money left over. And Well, I was going to mention, in the early years, there was no alcohol, never in Rotary. No gambling, no lottery tickets of this type. But Gordon Howard, he sort of relieved the pressure there. We had a ladies' night one time at golf course, and Gordon was in charge of refreshments. So he had 2 bowls. And on top of one he had with vitamins and without vitamins. And then we went from that, we had a tent down in the parking lot next to the old post office. And we started selling buffalo burgers and beer. We had no trouble selling the beer. But a lot of us had a lot of buffalo burgers in our freezers for a long time. We did that a few years, and it got a little dangerous. We used to hire off-duty policemen, and they said, this is just a bomb ready to explode, so you guys better get out of it. So we did. We used to have joint meetings of the friends from Tavistock here, and Joe Mantle, former district governor from Aylmer, he's here. And we used to have Simcoe, and their president was here. And it was Tavistock, Woodstock, Tosiaburg, Simcoe, and Aylmer. And once a year we would go to each other's clubs. And it went very well, and we had a lot of fellowship. We used to visit clubs in the U.S. Take a bus sometimes we drive, and they would reciprocate. The Rotarians sometimes had a weekend or a night at, one time we went to New Hamburg to the water lot and had dinner, and then we went to Stratford to the Shakespearean Festival, then we went to the church restaurant, must have been for coffee. And you got some more to say? I need to get my breath before I finish up.
That's a hard act to follow, because my next item that I have on my list was building a fence around the cemetery. That isn't a bad project. I don't know what it is. We enjoyed our share of the with the Tillsonburg Little Theater when we shared with them the project of the Otter Valley Playhouse. We thought when it was paid for that was the end of that, but we found out that they wanted the parking lot hard top, so we got into a very sizable amount of the cost of that. Travelogue was another thing that we had a lot of fun with in Tillsonburg back a number of years ago when we hired someone to come in and put on travelogues that they had personally filmed and presented themselves. And we found that very good. I think Woodstock kind of outdid us on that. I think they still have it, if I'm not mistaken. Now that brings me to the timely subject of the clock tower. A project that I'm very proud of. And I think really that says enough for that. Thank you. Frank, you can finish up.
Well, and Owen needs to be proud of that clock, but it's because of him that that clock tower exists. Well, I had to scratch some off because Cam stole some and Owen stole the rest. But we used to do, recently, there's been a lot of talk about wells that we helped have drilled in the Philippines. Well, I don't know, 30 years ago, we drilled wells in India. And that was a great, and it helped thousands of people. The Provost Club that Cam mentioned, we put an ad in the paper. That was Doug Humphreys when he was president. Put an ad in the paper, and I think about 42 people showed up. 36 or 38 of them gave us a check, joined that first night. It's still going. I've been retired for 6 years. Provost means professional and business people that are retired. I've been retired 6 years, and I haven't had time to get a meeting yet. And we up with the upper deck that you're all familiar with. We adopted a highway. John Gavazia, I saw him here somewhere, was in charge of that. And we picked up all the garbage from 19 down to Goshen Road on number 3. A lot of golf balls we got too along the side there. Of course, the ongoing thing, an international flavor, which Brian Clark is very involved in, is helping people throughout the world in many avenues. And one of the things that, and a lot of the members here are fellowship, Rotary Foundation fellowship members. And one of the big projects has been to eradicate polio throughout the world by 2005. That's about all I got. Generally speaking, our club never used the word can't do. It usually used the word can do. It's been a great 50 years.
If Frank and I say any more, you'll think we're bragging.
Thanks, fellas, for presenting the history. The club certainly has accomplished an awful lot over the past 50 years, and it's something that we can all be very proud of. Thank you. Now I'd like to call on Rotarian Dr. Brian Clark.
Thank you, President Mark, and ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to very briefly introduce to you past district governor Don Watkins from this club. Don was responsible for sponsoring me to join Rotary a number of years ago, and I don't think that it would be an exaggeration if I said that many of the service projects that this club continues to do were introduced to it by Rotarian Don Watkins. And also, I would be remiss if I didn't say that many of us in the club now have learned a good deal of what we know of Rotary at Don's instruction and impetus. He got us started in a number of areas and persuaded us that these were things that we should learn about. And by golly, we did learn about them, and we're grateful for it. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking further about Don's background. Many of you who have been in town for a number of years or have known Don through Rotary know that he is a pharmacist, and he and his wife Sharon have lived in Tillsonburg for many years and recently moved to Peterborough, and we're delighted that they're back to join us tonight. And Don is doing us the courtesy of making a presentation on behalf of our current district governor, Jerry Weingard, who was at the International Convention and was not able to be here, but Don graciously offered to stand in and do a job that I know pleases him to be able to do. So Don, I'm going to call on you now, if you would please, to make a presentation.
President Mark, fellow Rotarians, and guests. It really is a thrill for Sharon and I to be back here in what we consider our home club. We've been away for 5 years now, but it still feels like home. And it really is an honor for me to have been asked to represent District Governor Jerry Weingard in this important event in your club's history. It was past club president and Paul Harris fellow Al Beatty who inducted me into this club on November the 5th, 1974. And Al presented me with a copy of Adventure in Service, signed by Gord Hollier, Secretary, and Henry Harley, President. And it has been a wonderful adventure. I remember the excitement during the meeting when Bill Popham, who at that point was the last charter member still active in the club, was your host. free from the practices of the past. We have a new certificate, but someone else has new knowledge and new ambitions. In becoming a Paul Harris Fellow, Jim Donaldson joins a remarkable company of more than 705,000 persons around the world, all recognized for the devotion to the ideal of peace, goodwill, and understanding. Jim, would you please come forward? My pleasure to present you with this medallion with the Rotary Foundation. To give you a new Rotary pin with the insignia of Paul Harris, our founder, and a certificate. And a certificate that reads, "In appreciation of tangible and significant assistance given for the furtherance of better understanding and friendly relations among peoples of the world." Jim, congratulations.
Thank you very much for doing that for us. It means so much to have, actually it means so much to have you doing that for us, much more so than anybody else to do it. Thank you for coming down tonight to do that. Now, I would like to call on Rotarian Frank Benner to give a 10-minute talk on, oh no, that's not right, that's not right. Frank, would you come up and introduce the guest speaker for us, please? Take as long as you want.
Thank you, President Mark. I had a speech all wrote out, but this morning, Eleanor sent her biography, and it's in large print, and I can read it a lot better than I can in mine. Besides, it says some things I wasn't going to say. A lot of you know Eleanor. Eleanor is a positive speaking person, believes in positive thinking. She's very dynamic, always entertaining. She was a teacher, managed a family dairy farm, was very wise when she married Harvey. He's a bank manager. And that allowed him to buy farms and increase. And he's as active as she is. They've made a great team. They have 3 children. Eleanor is a Citizen of the Year. She's entwined all this successful speaking program that she has with her work at the farm. She's in Rockton. If you know where Troy is, she's from RR1 Troy. Everybody knows where that is. It's about 50, 60 miles east of here. If you don't know that, you know where Rockton is. It's at least 1,000 people. She's very involved in that, in the United Church, the Agriculture Society, taking agriculture to the students in schools. Eleanor encourages you to be the best you can be, and she thoroughly believes that you are in charge of your own destiny. She not only is sure of this, she's positive about it. And it's my pleasure, great pleasure, to have Eleanor Wood come and speak to us.
I'm going to go over here. I feel much more comfortable if I can get right into your face. Thank you very much for the opportunity.